Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to Srimad Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. So we are reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela chapter 14, the childhood pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we were reading how once Sachimata brought some sweetmeats and fused rice for little Nimai, who just started walking. He was playing with his friends, and when Sachimata went inside to take care of her household chores, Nimai started eating dirt. And when Sachimata saw this, she came back and she said, "What are you doing? Why are you eating dirt? I gave you sweetmeats." So Nimai said, "Sweetmeats is also a transformation of earth, and dirt is also a transformation of earth. So how are they different? If I'm eating, it's the same thing. I'm eating the same thing." So this is the Mayavad philosophy. So Sachimata explained. What did Sachimata say? Arunita, you remember what did Sachimata say? What were her arguments?
Do you remember?
Yes.
Say.
Her arguments was that if eating dirt is the same thing as eating food, then why do we eat food and not dirt?
Okay.
Because we need it to get healthy.
If you eat
dirt, if you eat dirt, then you will become sick. And if you are eating food, it will be nutritious, nourishing for your body.
Correct. That's what Sachimata said. And there's another example given. You remember another one? Pot and clay.
Oh, yes. If the clay is, if you pour water, then it will become soggy. And if you pour water in a clay pot, it will hold water.
Yes, and right. So clay is also transformation of earth. Pot is also transformation of earth. But pot can be used to carry water. Clay cannot. So similarly, even though, and one more example in the purport Srila Prabhupada quoted, you remember? What's the other example? Fire and wood, or even earth and fire. Because earth is transformed into a tree, right? A plant. And then from that plant you get wood, and from wood you'll get fire. But if you want to cook something, you want to perform fire sacrifice, you need fire. You cannot just directly use dirt. Although fire and dirt, earth, you can say it is the same, but at the same time both have different practical purposes. Yeah. And also Srila Prabhupada said, why it is like this? Because the body or material elements are in an inferior state of existence, whereas the spirit soul is in a higher state of existence. You cannot achieve higher things from those which are in an inferior state of existence, right? Experiencing bliss, that is a very fine thing, which is only possible for the spirit soul on the spiritual platform. It is not possible on the material platform. So they have their functions, practical functions are there. So similarly, Sachimata said, yeah, food and earth, I mean dirt, even though they may be the same thing, but one will nourish your body, the other one will make you sick. And just look at it outside, like the very first statement that Arunita said. Then why is everyone not just eating dirt? Why do they take the trouble to cook food, grow food, cook and then eat? Common sense, right? So like that. Okay, so then what happened after that? Today's verse. I'll just quickly see the previous one. What was the last thing Sachimata said? Yeah, Sachimata said, yeah, in a water pot, which is a transformation of dirt, I can bring water. So she gave both examples. So we discussed all that. So then what is Nimai saying next? Atma lukaite prabhu bolilata hare age kyono ihamata nashikhale more. What is Nimai saying? So we have to begin with Isha, right? Go ahead, translation.
Yes.
The Lord replied to his mother, "Why did you conceal self-realization by not teaching me this practical philosophy in the beginning?"
So in the beginning, Nimai spoke Mayavad philosophy. And then when Sachimata defeated him with her common sense, simple statements, and he said, why did you hide such nice philosophy of self-realization? Why didn't you teach me this practical philosophy before? You should have taught this to me in the beginning itself. Purport, Krishna Shish.
From the very beginning of life, one is taught the Vaishnava philosophy of duality or variety. The monastic philosophy will not bother him very much.
We can't
In
hear
reality,
anything, Mataji.
Oh, sorry, because I have 1 second. They're not
He
able to
has
hear
to
it. I'll
hear
remove my.
now.
No, but I was wearing this. That's why. Thank you. Go ahead, Virina.
if from the beginning of life one is taught the Vaishnava philosophy of duality or variety, the monastic philosophy will not bother him very much. In reality, everything is an emanation from the Supreme Source, Janmadyasya Yataha. The original energy is exhibited in varieties, as exactly as the sunshine, the original energy emanating from the sun, exhibits itself in variety as light and heat. One cannot say that light is heat or that heat is light, yet one cannot separate one from the other. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is Achintya Bheda Bheda, inconceivable non-separation and distinction. Although there is an affinity between the two physical manifestations of light and heat, there is also a difference between them. Similarly, although the whole cosmic manifestation is the Lord's energy, the energy is nevertheless exhibited in varieties of manifestations.
Yes. So about the practical philosophy, Srila Prabhupada is saying, if from the beginning of life one is taught the Vaishnava philosophy of duality or variety, the monastic philosophy will not bother him very much. This is very important. That is why Prahlad Maharaj also says this devotional education must begin from the tender age of childhood. Actually, even before that, right? Even at the time of conception itself, the samskaras are planted. And then even during pregnancy, the mother, if she is reading, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that has great spiritual influence on the baby. And then what to speak of after the baby is born, the vibrations in the house, right? All this is going to influence that particular living entity. So if from the beginning of life one is taught the Vaishnava philosophy of duality, he will not be affected by the monastic philosophy. So the education of our children should begin long before even they go to school, because that's the real education. So in reality, everything is an emanation from the Supreme Source. The original energy is exhibited in varieties exactly as the sunshine the original energy emanating from the sun exhibits itself in variety as light and heat. So the source is one, but energies are many. In this material world, what is the example? The sun. So sun, you experience the sun in the form of two energies in this world, heat and light. But the source of light and the source of heat is the sun. Similarly, everything that you see in this creation is coming from the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Source, right? The very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam says that Vasudevaya, Lord Vasudev. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is Achintya Bheda Bheda. How? That means the energy and the source of the energy is simultaneously one and also different. How is it one? Because if you separate heat and light from the sun, does the sun have any meaning? If there's no heat and light, the sun has no meaning. You cannot separate heat and light from the sun. And at the same time, if that didn't exist, if the sun didn't exist, will there be heat or light independently standing? No. That means you cannot separate one from the other. Therefore, the energy and the energetic are the same. They're one. But they're also different. They're also different. You cannot say that the light that we are seeing, that is the sun completely. No, the sun is actually the planet, and in the planet also there's a personality from whom that light is coming and that heat is coming. So simultaneously they're different and they're one. Achintya, and this is achintya. This is something which we cannot understand logically, because two opposites are present in the same. It is same and it is also not same. This is opposites present in the same place, in the same person at the same time. We don't find such things in the material world. Therefore, it's beyond our logic. Achintya, inconceivable. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is Achintya Bheda Abheda. Abheda means non-different, Bheda means different. Inconceivable, non-separation. Non-separation means oneness, and distinction. They're also different. What are we talking about here? Duality. That means the Lord and his energy, they're separate and they're also not separate. So when you say energy, are we also the Lord's energy? Yes, we are also one of his energies. The living entities are also one of his energies. So like all his other energies, we are also separate from him, but at the same time non-separate from him. Although there is an affinity between the two physical manifestations, light and heat, there is also a difference between them. Similarly, although the whole cosmic manifestation is the Lord's energy, the energy is nevertheless exhibited in varieties of manifestations. Okay. So that is the practical philosophy that Sachimata taught Nimai. And that Nimai is saying, why didn't you teach me before? This is the Vaishnava philosophy. I'm just trying to understand the last two lines. Although there is an affinity between the two physical manifestations, light and heat. So now we are simply comparing the energies, the different types of energies. Yes? There is also a difference between them, right? Okay. So the point is not only between the living entity and the Lord, but also the variety, different types of energies. Because what are we comparing this with? Mayavad philosophy, the oneness, philosophy of oneness, what baby Nimai was telling his mother. It is all one, right? What is the whole point? He's saying sweet meat and dirt, they're both the same. But actually they're different. That's the whole point. They're different. The Lord has different energies, and even in each energy, you may say external energy. Within the external energy also there is variety. There is subtle elements, there is gross elements, right? There are totally 24 elements, all different. Within one energy also there's so much variety. You cannot put them all in one and say it is all one and there is no difference. You cannot say that. That is the point being made here. So the example of the sun and its two energies, heat and light, are said. You cannot say heat and light, they are both the energies of the sun, but still heat is heat, light is light. They have their separate functions and they have their practical roles to play. Although the source is the same, they're coming from the same source, but still they too have different practical purposes. This is the practical philosophy taught by Sachimata, which Nimai appreciated. Next. Text 34. Ebe se janilam ara mati na khaibo, क्षुधा lage jabe tabe tomara stana pibo. Okay, translation. Madhava.
Now that I understand this philosophy, no more shall I eat dirt. Whenever I am hungry, I shall suck your breast and drink your breast milk.
Yes, I won't eat dirt anymore. I understand the philosophy now. I won't say that whether I drink your milk or I eat dirt or I eat sweetmeats, it's all the same. I won't say that anymore. Now I will drink your milk. Whenever I'm hungry, I'll come and suck your breast and I'll drink your breast milk because that is nourishing. Like that. Eta boli jananira kolete chadiya, stana pana kore prabhu ishat hasiya. Rasapriya.
After seeing this, the Lord smilingly, slightly climbed on the lap of his mother and sucked her breast.
Yeah. Ei mate nana chale aishwarya dekhaye, balya bhava prakatiya paschat lukaye. So, who is next? Kalpesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Please
Thus,
accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thus, under the Lord exhibit his much as did, and later, after exhibiting such opulences, he had himself. He
Yes.
did.
Hid himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thus, under various excuses, the Lord exhibited his opulences. So he's showing, on one hand, he is playing the role of a, the son of a Brahmana. So he's hiding his real position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, acting like a child. But at the same time, through these, by making different excuses, he's actually exhibiting his opulences as much as possible in his childhood. And later, after exhibiting such opulences, he hid himself. So just like in this case, he's speaking Mayavad philosophy. He's speaking philosophy, a small boy who just started walking, hardly 1 year old maybe, isn't it? And then again, all of a sudden, I'll drink your milk now, like that, like a small baby. So again, hiding himself. Next. Atithi viprera anna khaila tina bar, pache gupte sei vipre korila nistar. Okay, so next is Nilambari Mataji. Can you read? Are you able to read, Mataji? Nilambari Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I can read. Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Pranam Mataji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
On one occasion, Lord ate the food of a Brahmana guest 3 times, and later, I have to this one here. And later, in confidence, the Lord delivered that Brahmana from material engagement.
Yes. So this pastime is nicely described in Caitanya Bhagavat. But as Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in the beginning, he only elaborates on those pastimes which are not discussed by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, because he doesn't want to, repeat he doesn't want to take away, something which is already said. Why I have to say again? You want to read that pastime, you go and read there, like that. That's his mood. And why Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur didn't write so much? Because he thought the book will become too bulky. So he left the later part, the sannyas pastimes, he didn't elaborate so much. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami takes that portion. So the initial portion he'll just write in sutras. That's why in the beginning he said, I will tell you the childhood pastimes in sutras. Like in one line, he'll tell the whole pastime, which may be chapters long in Chaitanya Bhagavat, like this one. On one occasion, the Lord ate the food of a Brahmana guest 3 times, and later, in confidence, the Lord delivered that Brahmana from material engagement. So Srila Prabhupada is giving us a little bit of that pastime in the purport. So we'll begin now again. Achintadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhuji.
Purport. The story of the deliverance of this Brahman is as follows. A Brahman who was touring all over the world, all over the country, traveling from one place of pilgrimage to another, reached Navadip and became a guest in the house of Jagannath Mishra. Jagannath Mishra gave him all ingredients for cooking, and the Brahman prepared his food. When the Brahman was offering the food to Lord Vishnu in meditation, child Nimai came before him and began to eat it. And because of this, the Brahman thought that the whole offering had been spoiled. Therefore, by the request of Jagannath Mishra, he cooked for a second time. But when he was meditating, the child again came before him and began to eat the food, again spoiling the offering. By the request of Jagannath Mishra, the Brahman cooked for a third time. But for a third time, the Lord came before him and began to eat the food. Although the child had been locked within a room and everyone was sleeping,
Because it was
late at night. Thus, thinking that on that day Lord Vishnu was not willing to accept his food and that he was therefore ordained to fast, the Brahman became greatly agitated and cried loud, Hi, hi, what has been done? What has been done? What has been done? When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the Brahman in the agitated state, he told him, Formerly I was the son of Mother Yashoda. At that time also you became a guest in the house of Nanda Maharaj, and I disturbed you in this way. I am very much pleased by your devotion. Therefore, I am eating the food you have prepared. Understanding the favor offered to him by the Lord, the Brahman was greatly pleased and he was overwhelmed with love of Krishna. He was thankful to the Lord for he felt greatly fortunate. Then the Lord asked the Brahman not to disclose the incident to anyone else. This pastime is very elaborately explained in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Khanda, chapter 5. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you, Hare Krishna. So this is the pastime. It's nicely explained there. So just in short, so this Brahmana carried a deity of Gopal around his neck, tied around his neck, and he didn't have any residence. He would just travel from place to place, and most of the time he would just eat some, when he's in the jungles traveling, he will just eat whatever fruit or roots, whatever he found. He hardly ever cooked anything, and he wouldn't eat food cooked by anyone else. He would himself cook and offer to his Gopal, and only then he would eat. That is whenever he got an opportunity to cook. Otherwise, just some fruits or roots, that's all. That was his diet. So Jagannath Mishra invited him to his house, and he was very much impressed by this Brahmana, by his effulgence. He's a great devotee. So he said, Please, you cook in my house. So the Brahman agreed. He also was very much, he saw Nimai, and he said, Whose son is this? So this is Jagannath Mishra's son, right? So he's very pleased. And then Jagannath Mishra said, Please cook. He said, Okay. So then the ladies, Jagannath Mishra and all the others, they started cleaning the kitchen nicely. They got all the ingredients, vegetables and everything. And when everything was ready. Then the Brahmana started cooking, and after he finished cooking the meal, with great love, he prepared the plate, and now he's chanting and praying to his Gopal to please take that offering that he offered, that he prepared. And as he is praying to the Lord, chanting mantras, asking Gopal to eat, Nimai comes there, picks up a morsel and puts it in his mouth. And seeing this, the Brahman, when he opens his eyes and he sees this little boy, he has, he put his hand in the deity's plate and he's eating. He said, hi, this boy has spoiled the offering. So then he said, well, you know how long it takes to cut up and cook and all that. So already some hours have passed. So he said, never mind, because now he cannot eat it because the deity, it cannot be offered to the deity. So that food cannot be eaten. He said, just bring me some fruits and roots. And then they were all very sad. No, please cook, please cook. And then they were literally begging him. And finally he said, okay. With great difficulty, he agreed. And again, they cleaned up everything. First, whatever was cooked before, everything was cleaned up. Fresh bhoga was brought again. Again, he started cooking. And when he completed his cooking, when he was making the offering, the first time, Jagannath Mishra was upset, but the Brahmana stopped him. No, don't be upset. He's a little boy, like that. And then, second time, when he cooked, and he was making the offering, I don't know if they took him. No, they took him to the other house. Second time only, right? Yeah. So they took him to the neighbor's house. The lady said, "This time we'll keep Nimai with us, so he won't spoil the offering." They took him to another house, and while they were, Nimai was there, and they were talking to him. Why do you eat? That Brahmana's food. You don't know what his caste is, where he's coming from. Your you will spoil your caste by eating someone else's food. So Nimai said again, one of those, like he's saying, I'm a cowherd boy. I always eat food which is cooked by Brahmanas. How does a Vaishya, right, a cowherd, lose his caste by eating food cooked by a Brahmana? But because of his Yogamaya's power, the others couldn't understand what he said. They thought he's just joking and they just had a good time laughing. And meanwhile, the Brahmana finished cooking for the second time and now he's ringing bell and he's making the offering. And somehow or other, Nimai escaped from there. Nobody even realized when he went. He went there, he put his hand in the plate and he ate again he ate from the plate, offering plate. And when the Brahman saw, he said, hi, this boy, this restless boy has again spoiled the offering. When Jagannath Mishra saw this, he was so mad. He was about to ran with a stick, and then with great difficulty, this Brahmana said, no, you cannot do that. No, please don't punish him. And Jagannath Mishra was feeling so embarrassed, he couldn't even ask him to cook again, right? Already he asked him and he had his, like that. And then the Brahmana was feeling bad for Jagannath Mishra. He said, don't worry, it's not in my destiny to eat today. If the Lord does not sanction it, it won't happen. How much ever we try, it will not happen. I'm not meant to eat grains today. That's the indication the Lord is giving to me. Please bring whatever roots and fruits you have in your house. I will eat and I will be satisfied with that. But Jagannath Mishra, he couldn't even lift his head. He was sitting like this. Meanwhile, Vishwarup walks in. Vishwarup spends all day with Advaita Acharya, and in the evening he'll come home. When he's coming home, when he came home, he saw everyone is, sad, sitting like this, and he saw this Brahmana. And when the Brahmana saw Vishwarup, he was very attracted to him, because who is Vishwarup? He's actually an expansion of Nityananda Prabhu, the Supreme Lord. So then he asked, who is this boy? And they said, this is Jagannath Mishra's older son, Vishwarup. And then meanwhile, Vishwarup also heard what happened. And then he went, and with such sweet words in his gentle voice, he requested this Brahman, if you have any strength left in you, please cook one more time. My parents will be very happy if you do that. We will all be so happy. The Brahman said, but I already cooked twice. It's already it's late in the night now. Is it proper to cook at this time? I mean, if the Supreme Lord says, then how can anything be improper? So Vishwarup said, it is not improper to cook now. Please cook. And the Brahman couldn't refuse Vishwarup's request. So he cooked again. He cooked a simple offering in the night. And meanwhile, the lady said, Nimai is fast asleep, don't worry. But still, Jagannath Mishra, to make doubly sure, he locked the room from outside and he stood guard outside the door to make sure that Nimai doesn't escape. And the ladies from inside said, don't worry, he's fast asleep. He doesn't know anything of this world now. And just when it was time for offering, everyone else fell asleep and Nimai manifested in front of that Brahmana. This is somewhere in the middle of the night when everyone, including Jagannath Mishra, everyone was fast asleep. This is by the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nidra Devi came and put everyone to sleep. And Nimai went, and as this Brahmana was chanting prayers, asking his Bal Gopal to accept, Nimai comes and he's just sitting there and smiling. And then he's taking a morsel of food. And this Brahmana says, hi, hi. But nobody was there to come. Everyone was fast asleep. So then Nimai said, my dear Brahmana, you call me with so much love, and that's why I come to eat. And when I come, then you make such a commotion. You're calling me, that's why I'm coming. And this Brahmana is like, what? And then all of a sudden, in front of that Brahman, Nimai reveals his beautiful Sham Sundar form, Krishna. And the whole house, everything is transformed into Vrindavan. There is gopis, there's birds, the whole place turned into Vrindavan, Yamuna and everything. And seeing this, the Brahman actually fainted. My God, right? And then the Lord touched his body. The Brahman, once again, he came to external consciousness, not external consciousness. He came to consciousness. He saw the Lord. And again he fainted. And again he saw him. And again, like that, it went on. And then the Lord explained here what we read, that you are my devotee, birth after birth. In when I, even when I was in Gokul with Yashodamai and Nanda Maharaj, then also you came home like this. And there also I ate your offering. You are my devotee, life after life, birth after birth. But don't reveal this to anyone. Don't reveal this to anyone, this secret to anyone. So, yeah. Yeah, don't reveal it to anyone, like that, the Lord said. So then, and then once again, the Lord turned into little Nimai. And then he was again back in bed, sleeping with everyone else. And this Brahman is in ecstasy. And he's taking that food, that prasad, which was personally eaten by the Lord, and he's just rubbing it all over his body. He's eating and he's applying it on his body and he's dancing and singing in ecstasy. So hearing his commotion, dancing, the sleeping members of the family woke up to see what's going on. And when he realized that they're all up, quickly he went and cleaned himself. And then peacefully he started eating. So when Jagannath Mishra came and he saw the Brahman finally eating, they thought, oh, the offering is a success. They were all pleased. So that's the pastime here of Nimai eating the Brahman's food 3 times.
So if it is secret, how do we know, Mataji?
What is the secret, Mataji?
It was supposed to be secret, then how did it come up? How do we know?
Because Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur revealed it to us. That's why.
He is also not supposed to know if it is a secret, no?
We should not, such questions are not expected.
No, I'm not doubting. I'm saying, how did it get leaked?
It's not leaked, it is revealed to acharyas. They actually participate in that pastime. So if you go back and see, you can start. That's why when we started Chaitanya Charitamrita from the beginning, how Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami even came to write this book, it said, right? Like he's personally instructed by Nityananda Prabhu. to do this work. He's dictating that it to um, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Vrindavan Das Thakur is also the disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. So when acharyas write something, they are not writing something with by imagination. So you will say that means they should have seen it themselves. Otherwise, how? Yeah, they have seen it themselves. That's how they are writing. The Lord is revealing the pastime to them, and that's how they are writing it. So if the acharyas didn't write, then we would not have access to this. Yes, it is a secret. So when the Lord is there in this world, as long as the Lord says this, as long as I'm on this planet performing my pastimes, because it is a Channa avatar, hidden avatar. He never shows himself, he doesn't reveal it openly to everyone that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because this is a hidden avatar. But after the Lord disappeared, of course, it's an open thing. Even when he was there, the confidential associates were able to see. We saw he was revealing himself to the confidential associates in Srivasangan.
Yes.
But openly, it is known to everyone after the disappearance. Although they could see even then, but it was actually like openly accepted. I don't know how to
Also
put it.
now also it is only known to devotees. Like
That's the truth, actually. That is the truth. Only
because
the devotees can accept.
everyone doesn't read Chaitanya Charitamrita only, and
Even if they read, they won't understand, they won't accept it.
yes, and after Bhagavatam only we are supposed to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. That this is postgraduate, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So, what do you want me to do? Read or stop here?
We are pending, Mataji. Only we are pending.
Yeah.
Acha.
And Chaitanya and Chatterjee Prabhu is also pending, I believe.
Kalpesh Prabhu also. And Kalpesh Prabhu read, right? I started with Isha. Okay, so we'll just read then. चोरे लया गेला प्रभु के बाहिरे पाइया तारस कंधे चढ़ी आइला तारे बुलाइया. Okay, so Arunita or Mataji, who's going to read?
Yes. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
In his childhood, the Lord was taken away by two thieves outside his home. The Lord, however, got up on the shoulders of the thieves, and while they were thinking they were safely carrying the child to rob his ornaments, the Lord misled them, and thus, instead of going to their own home, the thieves came back to the home of Jagannath Mishra.
So I'm not going to tell the pastime though, because
We read it.
so if you want me to tell, then it will be postponed for tomorrow, or if you just want to read, we'll read it.
Prabhupada must have written it in the purport itself.
Right, okay, go ahead. Arunita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
In his childhood, the Lord was profusely decorated with gold ornaments. Once upon a time, when the Lord was playing outside his house, two thieves passing on the street saw the opportunity to rob him. Therefore, they took him on their shoulders, pleasing him by offering him some sweetmeats. The thieves thought they would carry the child to the forest and then kill him and take away the ornaments. The Lord, however, expanded his illusory energy upon the thieves so much so that instead of carrying him to the forest, they came right back in front of his house. When they came before his house, they became afraid because everyone from the house of Jagannath Mishra and all the inhabitants of that quarter were busy searching for the child. Therefore, the thieves, thinking it dangerous to remain, went away and left him. The child was brought within the house and given to Mother Suchi, who was in great anxiety, and she became satisfied. This incident is also very elaborately explained in the Adi Kanda of Chaitanya Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So this is that pastime where Nimai is taken away by two thieves, but again they brought him back, not willingly, unknowingly. They were thinking they were going to their home, but they thought they got to their hiding place, but they happened to come right back to Nimai's house. They got scared that they would get caught, so they ran away from there. Okay, next. So who Chatterjee Prabhu has to read? Vyadhi chale jagadisha hiranya sadane Vishnu naivedya khaila ekadashi dine.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Pretending to be sick, the Lord asked some food from the house of Hiranna and Jagadish on the Ekadashi day.
Yeah.
Should I go through the purport also?
Yes.
Purport. The Caitanya Bhagavat Adikhanda, chapter 6, fully describes the Lord's accepting Vishnu Prasadam on the Ekadashi day at the house of Jagadish and Hiranna. Regular prasadam is offered to Lord Vishnu on Ekadashi because although fasting is recommended for devotees on Ekadashi, it is not recommended for Lord Vishnu. Once Ekadashi in the house of Jagadish and Hiranna Pandit, there were arrangements for preparing special prasadam for Lord Vishnu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked his father to go there to ask for the Vishnu prasadam because he was feeling sick. The house of Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit was situated about 2 miles from the house of Jagannath Mishra. Therefore, when Jagannath Mishra, on the request of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, came to ask Jagadish and Hiranya for the prasadam, they were a little astonished. How could the boy understand that special prasadam was being prepared for Lord Vishnu? They immediately concluded that Nimai must have supernatural mystic power. Otherwise, how could he understand that they were preparing special prasadam? Therefore, they immediately sent the food to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his father, Jagannath Mishra. Nimai was feeling sick, but immediately after eating the Vishnu prasadam, he was cured, and he also distributed the prasadam among his playmates. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So that's the pastime where Nimai ate Lord Vishnu's prasadam on Ekadasi day, which was prepared in Jagadish and Hiranya's house, Hiranya Pandit's house. So we will stop there today. Thank you all so much. Tomorrow is Saturday, so we will have class tomorrow. Actually, no. Normally we would have class on Saturdays, but tomorrow there's a home program. Yeah, I mean, almost every Saturday we are missing now because there's some program or the other. What I can do alternatively, if you want to keep the, so that we will still have, I don't know if I can record reading, because Saturday is just I read anyway. So I can read one chapter and upload it, and that's there for that week.
Mataji, live class is more.
Live is good. Okay, so then we'll wait for
Yes,
next
Mataji.
Saturday.
No problem, Mataji. Mataji, we on Ekadashi we offer Ekadashi food only.
I know we all do also the same thing, but to Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu we give Ekadasi, but in temples to Krishna, I mean in here in ISKCON temples in the West we give, I mean there's no problem for Krishna to eat grains, but then what will we do with that prasadam, right? Grain prasadam we can keep for next day, but generally from what I've seen we cook Ekadasi prasadam in the temples also here in the West, but in India for Krishna they make regular rice, dal, sabji, everything on Ekadasi. Krishna, no, not Ekadasi. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he eats Ekadasi.
In North Carolina, when we had one time in Ekadasi day food, so they had normal prasadam also. So
Acha.
I didn't know that because I'm accustomed to, eating Ekadashi prasadam blindly, trusting. So I didn't know Arunita got some halwa from there. I thought this is Ekadashi halwa. And I ate it and then I realized, oh my God, this doesn't taste like Ekadashi. So then I realized they have separate normal food also for probably offered to Krishna and Ekadashi.
I mean, well, when there's guests coming, all guests don't follow Ekadasi. And they also may not appreciate if there's no regular prasadam. Those who are used to eating grains, for them Ekadasi prasad is not sufficient. So therefore, in temples, even here also, where like in New Vrindavan, where there's guests coming, they always have regular prasadam for them, and only for devotees they have Ekadasi. So yeah, that may be the case there also, if it's like
And the
a week.
taste was so amazing. Ekadashi Prasadam can be so beautiful. I tasted there. It was so beautiful, so tasty.
Wow.
So
Kalpesh,
Mataji, one question. I heard that we are supposed to offer grains to the Lord every day. So yeah, so I do that. And also the Ekadashi, the day, if we cook Ekadashi, non-Ekadashi prasad for guests, are we supposed to offer them Nana Ekadashi prasad? Is it okay if we offer them?
why not?
Oh, okay. Because I heard that if you are not, if you are doing Ekadashi, you are not supposed to offer Ekadashi, non-Ekadashi prasad to other people, because you are insisting them to eat non-Ekadashi prasad, which is not.
No, you give them both options. If they eat Ekadasi, that's good for them. If they're actually observing Ekadasi, it's good. But if you don't give, they'll go and eat anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. It's
In the
just like
temple,
I heard that it's same as like non-veg offering. It's like no Ekadashi day, if you are offering non-Ekadashi prasad, it's the same thought. I mean that you are not you are offering them, which is not we are not supposed to eat, right?
it's better that they eat prasadam than they go out and eat non-prasad, no, Mataji?
Yeah, that's true. So I can do now because they don't like Ekadashi Prasad all the time. Sometimes they do, but all the time they don't like.
Yeah,
So
if they're not eating
like
prasadam, then
puri
it's better
sabji,
to give them prasadam, no?
puri sabji, simple thing I can give them. Yeah.
And offer, yeah, you of
Yeah,
course,
offer.
obviously you offer.
I do offer non-Ekadashi something grain
Yes.
to the Lord every day, every
Okay.
time on
Okay.
Ekadashi.
So
So
that
I
prasad you
heard it.
can give them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't hear that part, Mataji, so I don't know about that.
Okay.
But if they're going to eat anyway,
Yeah.
then why not give them prasadam instead of them eating something which is not prasadam?
If the temple is offering, that means it's okay.
Yeah, temple, yeah, in Mayapur they do.
Yeah, then it's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Kalpesh Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. So I'm confused now with this. I got the instruction and previous ISKCON devotees and some of the others. I don't want to say name from
No problem.
is, but I think so. His intent was like so. One of the reference is Skand Puran is telling that Lord has to be offered grain. That is what I recently learned. I never know where the reference came from. So Skand Puran was, I think so. It is from that. It is saying that we have to offer grain to Lord. Then at the same time, I also heard that because I am feeding according to scriptures, right? So any birds comes, so I feed them food. So I was instructed that when I asked this question that should I continue, and I'm giving grains to read. So I was told no, in Ekadashi even animals. So I stopped giving that grains to animals on that day because we should definitely not eat for ourselves. We should not even cook that day grains. That is what I got previous instruction. But then I also learned that from Skand Puran, it is saying that for Lord, you have to cook grains, but you should not eat the grains on that day. You can eat next day. So I don't know which way to go. And you were the other question which other Mataji asked, Nilambari Mataji. So I was told, no, even cash comes, you should not give because you will be responsible for that sin. If you feed somebody grain on that day, then that sin will also come to you. So I stopped feeding the birds, poor birds, because they used to come balcony, and they still come but we don't give them food, that day. So
I don't know about that part, Prabhuji. I never heard like that you should not feed them, either birds or others. You should not. The thing is, on Ekadasi day, Papa Purusha stays in the grain. That's what is said. So when you eat grain on that day, you're actually eating sin. This one I heard. And that's why we don't eat grains that day. But for us, simple, it's like Srila Prabhupada said, no beans and no grains on that day. So we avoid that. But as far as feeding others, I mean, if you didn't feed, yeah, I don't know what to say. But
because
even for children, they say no, you should feed them. What to speak of children, even for pregnant and lactating mothers, they say, do whatever, because you have to take care of that life there, right? So you have to take proper nourishment so that the baby will survive. If you get enough nourishment by Ekadasi Prasad, if you're able to do well and good. But if it's not like that, if you are in a place where you're not getting, you just have to survive on fruits or something, and other than that, you're getting only some grains, you have to take care of, so certain cases, for the sake of, like little children, they have to be fed. You cannot make them starve. Or you make enough sufficient Ekadasi Prasad with which they don't starve, it's good. But in exceptional cases like birds, you cannot, I don't know if you can give them Ekadasi food and they'll eat that, I don't know. But also for, guests who come to the temple who will not eat Ekadasi Prasad because it's not sufficient for them, then they'll just go to the restaurant and eat something which is not even prasadam. And what to speak of in Mayapur, like now we have so many shops and restaurants outside, but before it was out in the, fields. So they'll come there, they don't have anywhere else to go and eat also. So it's same with New Vrindavan. For so far away, you don't have anything else. So you have to provide them food. So they make grain prasad on Ekadasi and they serve. So what you said is in Skanda Puran, it is said that you should not eat grain, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah. What I heard from one of the like a discussion in the Hare Krishna TV, and in that it was referred that Skand Puran is the reference we offered to for Lord, but we cannot take it, of course.
But in Mataji, in Mayapur, I just came back, so I saw that in the Mahaprasad
They have both.
store. Yeah, they have both. They have
For
one.
devotees, yeah, because devotees also go and eat in Mahaprasad shop, right? Mayapur, so many devotees come, and also visitors come from other places. So they have both. They have both.
They have both. Yeah.
Like I
Because
stopped.
I remember my brother came and he ate both.
Right. Yeah. So you can choose what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kalpesh Prabhu?
So same logic goes with like we don't drink tea for a very long time. Before ISKCON only we were not drinking. But I was told like we should not even feed teas to somebody who actually was addicted.
Yeah, tea, I don't serve tea because tea is not a basic necessity for your survival. But grains may be, right? Yeah. So yeah, tea, no, I also didn't serve. I mean, if they are really insistent, then they can go outside and drink in the tea stalls if they are really that, if they want. But especially if we are worshipping deities at home, and I wouldn't. In New Vrindavan, they had a separate guest kitchen where the guests could, cook their food, but even their tea was not allowed. They said you can drink, like herbal tea, but making tea, no, not allowed in the temple. So we shouldn't take it too far.
Yes, the people who comes to my home, they bring their own packets. So I cannot say no to that. No thing.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I just said my standard. I didn't agree. But yeah. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.